Hey, it's Marcel Vautier. How you doing, everybody? So, I wanted to Ooh, crazy sounds here in the forest. I wanted to record a quick video, or not so quick, we'll find out, about changing styles. So, I've had many thoughts of about this over the maybe the last 2 years or something, of where my journey, the journey of my sound should go. In general, if you are known for one sound, how can you progress from there? So as to not alienate everyone, but also develop in the direction you want to develop as an artist. And so for me, it has become more and more clear that my goal is to have music that can be played on big sound systems, clubs, festivals, bars, wherever. And I realized along the journey that you have to have technically well-produced music, basically, especially the low-end area. And I always wanted to do that right with my tracks, but not so easy, because if you don't have a sound system where you're producing on that lets you really judge that well, you think you're doing right, but on the big system it might still not work. And then there's also other things, like if things are played in mono, will your music still sound great? And these kind of questions I ask myself a lot. And so, long story short, my goal is to improve my music in that direction. Be club compatible and dance floor compatible. And I just realized, we're talking to different mentors who have expertise, who are like touring DJs, who just know what works and what not, that a lot of stuff in the melodic progressive house genre is not working or would not work in this kind of scenarios, just because they sound great at home. People on Spotify can listen to it, or on YouTube, and there in this scenario you get listeners, but you don't get necessarily DJ pickup, because you have in melodic progressive house a lot of times these chords, which I love, is why I got into the genre in the first place. These wide chords that are like insanely wide, that completely jump out of the speakers. And these massive chords are really, at least from my perspective, difficult to produce in a way that they still work in mono, that they don't fall apart. Most of the times, if you listen to these kind of tracks with the ultra fat chords in melodic progressive house, when you switch it to mono, the chords fall behind the kick drum. They are way in front in stereo, and they're like a wall of chords, and then in mono you hear the kick drum is too loud. All of a sudden, like, the chords are behind and they're not as massive anymore. And then if you imagine turning that up 10 times then from the volume you would listen to it at home, you would hear, when you hear the chords well, the kick drum would be way too loud and overpowering everything. When you consider the boom, like the resonance that a big system has, where the bass is like longer than you hear it at home, it just overwhelms. And so this is the problem. So why I thought, I need to find a solution and not go the way of the wide chords that everybody uses, which I love. I really love to listen to them. But and so that's the mono aspect of things. And then the low end mix down comes to the same conclusion that many folks, for example, also again in melodic progressive house, they use very high kick drums that hit at like 60 hertz or something like that. Again, sounds really cool at home, but in a club you have the problem that they're not rumbling in the low end. They're just more like punchy kicks. And at home, when you don't have a huge the sub bass, when you don't feel the music at home, it sounds good. But when you feel it in the club, in a big system, wherever, all of a sudden you're lacking this low end, this feeling. You can still hear the music. It sounds great. It sounds clear and punchy, but it doesn't. The feeling is not there. And so that's the other aspect. And yeah, what I'm looking is to get these things right. And it's been a long journey already for me. It's hard to learn. But that's why I wanted to make this video. That's why my music is kind of evolving from the super melodic progressive house, like we all love it, to something more club compatible. And along this journey, I realized, for example, I need to be really simple in the arrangements, not layer and layer sounds over and over, because they phase in mono, they make sound the mix busy and crowded. And at least me personally, on a big system to dance to, I like to have very clear sounds. I don't like to have an overwhelming complex mix down that has 1,000 details that you can listen to at home in your headphones or so, and it's beautiful. But on a big system, you don't pick that up, and it just blurs. It just takes the power out of the track. So different priorities, you know. And so I had to really reinvent a lot of stuff. Go really simple. Go away from presets and silence that everybody uses, that have like the stereo knob on super wide, that have 8 voices in every oscillator, and strip that down back to like 1 voice and stereo in the middle, and then apply reverb to make it a bit more wide, and some chorus maybe, but keep it mono compatible, keep it club compatible. And yeah, that's why my sound is evolving and might sound different than a few years ago, and it will sound different soon again too. I have a lot of stuff in the pipeline, and I'm realizing, like the last 6-7 tracks I did, I would rather call them melodic techno, maybe melodic house, but not necessarily melodic progressive house. It's a bit less trancey, it gets more. I'm using quite some 808 and 909 samples, classic house and techno samples, you hear that. More pumping beat, less trancey. Yeah, and then last thing I want to say about that is that I'm really sorry if there's anyone who loves the music I did and who is like not getting into what I do now. Still hope it's not too radical, but if it is, I hope you can give me some time to fully evolve into this new style. Hope you can then like it too, because yeah, I'm still not at the goal where I want to be. My mixes are still not as good as I want them to be, but we'll get there. And yeah, for me personally, it's also a bit of a challenge, because I don't know if anybody will like that new stuff that I'm doing. I have contacts in the melodic progressive house scene, so I have also contacts to promoters. My music usually gets picked up and promoted by certain channels and folks, but with some of the more clubby tracks, I did not get that support, which I fully understand. It's like going a bit to another audience. It doesn't fit the channels anymore where people put my music. And yeah, that's also challenging for me, because for me it's like sometimes I feel like my listeners go just down with every track that I do. It's not like that, but sometimes it feels like a little bit it could happen. Even if I release some tracks that are even more clubby, then maybe it's like folks are like, hey, this is not Marcel Vautier, I don't know what that is, but I don't like it. And I fully respect that. It's a real possibility. But somehow I need to follow my heart and do the thing that I feel, because otherwise I cannot make good music anyway if I don't feel it. And this is the way. So I hope, even if my music is being a bit less promoted in the future, hope you can still find it, hope you can still like it. And I hope that sharing my thoughts a little bit on this provides some clarity, and that, yeah, if you like, stick with me. I really appreciate it. Like everyone listening to my music, each additional listener increases my motivation exponentially. And if I see at one point that people dig what I'm doing now, that will be a huge reward. Then I would go for it even more, make it even better. And yeah, thanks for checking in with me here on this nice walk through the forest. And I'll see you maybe soon in another vlog video. Take care.